sound. When the work week's done and the weekend rolls round, everybody knows where I can be found. I'll be fishing all night and day, strapping from the shore, fluking in the bay.
All right, today is a very exciting day for me. I am heading to Empire Kayaks over here in Island Park, and they are going to install my GPS. They had to make some custom modifications for the transducer, so I left it there, and he gave me a call. Said it's all ready to go, so we're pulling up now, and hopefully get this thing installed. I'm very excited because I definitely want to do some kayak videos now, so we'll see how it goes. Just pulling up, as you can see. Empire Kayaks. Do all the modifications in here. We have rentals. Everything's over here at Empire Kayaks. All right, here we are. Kayak is here over at Empire. Gonna get its final modification. We got the expert, the pro here, right?
On certain things.
This is
yes.
definitely.
So we want to, like I said, take that plate off.
That place can come off. So what Mike's doing right now is we had to do some, well, he had to do some custom modifications for the transducer, because these are pre-rigged for Lowrance, you said, right?
Yes.
And we put a Garmin in here. So we had to make some changes, and he custom made a little fitting thing and popped it. There we go underneath. He's taking off the plate. And he's gonna rig it all up nice. I believe we went with a Garmin 6-inch on this kayak. All right, so right now the bottom plate's coming out. And then we'll have the modified one going in. Here's your retractable rudder. This is where your pedals are gonna go. I just turn this off now. The string's in there.
This tied to
Yeah,
the
yeah.
transducer.
And that's what makes it hide away and
Yeah.
that release.
But like I said, if you're not using a
Side scan here.
no.
So basically just untying this so we can pull it out, and then we'll put the modified one on. And Mike was just saying just a couple simple overhand knots was holding that. And that's going to be a release. So if you had a side scan, you could take it in out of water and not damage your side scan. It'll tuck it back into the hull of the kayak. Right? Is that what that's for? Did I say that right?
Yeah.
Gotcha. That gets pulled
Sucked
down.
into the boat.
Gotcha. Okay. And this is where so you don't damage it when you're launching. Okay. So here's the transducer that Mike modified, and he'll tell us what he did and how to exchange it when you're using a Garmin versus Lowrance. So,
Right. So Lowrance ready means that it will hold just about any Lowrance transducer right on these
like the brackets, whatever.
brackets here. So, but with this Garmin, it wasn't going to fit. So with the unit, there's different different plates that would hold the transducer in place. So this plate that holds the transducer had to be
like shaved down.
down and carved out with a Dremel, and so I used the other mounting plate to hold that in place, and then
Basically a couple modifications.
yeah.
And it made it work. And now it's
Right.
in there secure. It's not going anywhere.
Yeah, right. And it's where it's supposed to be. It's nice and level. I have about 1/8 of an inch of space there, and the water will fill that in, and this will shoot right through that.
Yep. So what he's saying about the water is you want that water to make a contact, almost like electricity in a way. It has a full contact of water. It's going to shoot through that water. There's no air in between, and get a perfect picture back fed to the Garmin. Basically, is basically what it is. That's why the water's got to be there.
Right, right.
And that's simple with any through hole, even on the boat. There has to be some sort of water between the fiberglass and the unit to get an actual read.
Right, so we're going to just
Yep, it's perfect.
put this in. And
You can see that's well modified. And guys, if you're looking to do any of this work, Mike will take care of it. Just come on over here. He'll do all the modifications for you. Nice and easy to do right here in Island Park. Now the fun part, snaking it through. He's snaking it through. You can see that. There's a little pre-drilled hole, I believe, or a cover. What, is it a cover? Or
it's a cover. It's a cover.
Okay. Yeah, and I saw it came with a kit. I guess, like, you know, for each different wire and stuff like that, they could use stuff to close those holes or something if you had to do that.
Yeah, you have different.
Like little grommet fittings.
Yeah,
or something.
different grommets, different size grommets, because the boat comes with, I don't know if you call it a solid grommet, but it comes with a rubber piece that's solid. So
Gotcha.
you take that out and you get the one that fits as close as you can to your the size of the wire you have.
Awesome. And that will just plug right in, and that'll kind of make it waterproof, basically. Then.
Yeah.
Awesome. And just placing it back on, and
This is definitely easier working upside down.
100%.
As long as you have somebody to turn.
When you
the
need
boat
me,
over
well, I'll
with
come
you.
here. I'll meet you, and we'll work together.
Yeah.
We'll get it flipped over.
That would be.
All right. So unfortunately, at this point, I caught my wire on something on a kayak and causing me to pull out my microphone, and I did not realize it. So I recorded basically with no volume. So I'll do a quick voiceover to talk about what Mike's doing. So right now, after taking off the plate and putting in the transducer for the fish finder, Mike is putting the plate back on. Now, these screws going in, there are metal, I guess, nuts, or whatever you want to call them, that are into the kayak molded in. So you could actually tighten these down a little bit. So he's basically going to put these all down with the screwdriver, and you could actually, you know, sock it down a little bit to make sure those screws are on tight. And I'm not sure why he actually got the screw gun for that. I guess he wanted to get a little more torque on there, or maybe a little bit more reach to get that one screw in the front of it. So as you can see, he's getting all the screws, socking it down. And we did remove the rope that would allow that to go up and down. We're just keeping it in the fixed position. Reason being is that I'm not using a side scanner on this one, so there's no need for it to come up and down. We would use that to hide away, like if I had the side scan, because then it would drop it down and it would be in the way, and you don't want to hit bottom and rip that thing off. So this is fully protected, and it's going to stay in that position the whole time. Next, he's basically running the wire that he had ran through already with the transducer, and he's going to snake that through and put that through the kayak. And as you can see in the beginning of the video, how we ran into the rubbers with the grommets and everything like that, and fitted the ones that come with it. It's the small parts kit for the Hobie Kayak, and we ran into that, and we put the little hole in there. And you can see, actually this might be where he's doing it. He's going to show where it goes. So we're going to unscrew that little piece right there, and you have to pay close attention. As you can see, this is the grommet I was talking about with the hole. I jumped ahead of myself. And that's the ones that are in there right now are solid, and the one that you just saw on the freeze frame, that's basically the one with the hole that wire will fit in and give it kind of like a little water seal. So kind of waterproof it, I guess, but you still get some water in it, but it does seal it a little bit better to get the wire through. So he'll show you how to snake it through and everything as we go through the video. All right, so now he's basically going to take off the cap. Over here, you want to be a little careful with the screws. This is actually being screwed into plastic, so you definitely don't want to crank down on these screws when you're putting it back together. And I'll probably repeat myself in a little bit about saying that, because it's pretty important. You definitely don't want to strip out the screws. But as you can see, he's taking off that little piece with the 3 screws, and that there are 3 basically solid grommets, we'll call them, in there. And he's going to remove one of the solid ones and put in the one that comes in the small parts kit with the hole in it, so you can fit the wire, the transducer wire in there. Now, also have to pay close attention here. It's very important that you put the gasket back on and in the same direction. So there's going to be a flat side and there's going to be a ridge side. The flat side going on the bottom, and the ridge side, as you can see in the thing, goes up top. So, and also don't forget to snake that through your wire, or else all your work you're going to have to redo if you don't put that through. So you're going to use that first. The wire is going to snake through, and from there you go on. And you'll see it in the video as he'll show you. So that's your gasket, and he just pulled out one of the solid grommets, and he's going to replace that with the one with the hole. Again, all these grommets come in your small parts kit when you purchase your Hobie Kayak. As you can see, he put the gasket on first. Very important to do that. And then he'll slide all the wires through. And there I wrote it down to flat side down to the kayak, groove side up to the cap. And now we're keeping all the wiring. We're not cutting it. You know, obviously it's going to stay all in there, and then we'll just fix it up later on. But he's going to snake that through the kayak now. And these are basically made for boats. That's why there's so much excess wire on these transducers. But it's going through into the hole, and it's going into the hull of the kayak, the inside part of it, which you could see. And he's able to grab it on the other access hatch. Also make sure you don't break that gasket too. Then you have to go get yourself a new one. Alright, so he's snaking, and getting the wire through. And then when it comes to the end, you'll see how everything comes together. And there he goes, snaking all that excess wire in there. And now we're going to put the gasket back on. This is the importance of why it had to have the wire through it first, for that exact reason. And again, flat side down, ridge side up. And that's what he's doing. He's also aligning the screw holes to make sure all the screw holes are lined up. And then he'll take the cap, and we're going to put that back on, and he's going to put on the grommet from the small parts kit that has the pre-hole in it already. And it's got a groove section out already, so you can just slide it in, it spreads apart, pop it on, and then put your cap back in, slide that in, and once it's all together, just slap it back down on the kayak, and then put your 3 screws back in. Again, this is a soft plastic, so make sure you don't really crank down too hard. And you can see where the wire is going through into the hole there. And that will basically make it a little, I guess we'll call it water resistant, because they don't believe it to be waterproof, but hey, maybe it is, I'm not sure. But to me, I'll just call it water resistant. And now he's going to crank down on those screws. Again, not too hard, because you are going into plastic. There is no metal bolts on the other end. You're going straight into the kayak, into the molded plastic. And let him tighten those down. And those are the 3 screws in there. Now you're going to be doing this again too. So this is the one wire in. Now you have to have the wire coming out as well to go to the machine itself. That's going to be on the right side of this kayak. He'll get that nice and snug. And that part will be basically complete. And we'll be moving on to the next one. So now he has his transducer wire in, and he's going to wrap it all up, because there's going to be a tremendous amount of excess wire there. And simple, just put them over here and wrap them up, and then just get like a wire tie to keep it all together. And then you're good to go there. You want to make sure you leave out just enough so you can reach your you know, whether your Garmin, your Lowrance, whatever you put in your Simrad, whatever machine unit you put in. This one happens to be a Garmin unit that we put in this boat. There's definitely a lot of wire there that he has to do. Like I said, these are basically for boats. And we'll just put them in kayaks now. So that's why I have all these excess wires. I'm sure maybe they might make transducers eventually. Maybe they even have with smaller wires. Okay, he's just tucking it on the side for now. Okay, as you can see, he's got a wire strap, wire tie. He's going to pop it on there and keep that all together and pull out what he needs to get to the unit. And again, this is for the transducer. We still got to run a power wire. And basically what he's showing me here is that he wants to tuck it up. So he'll get like a duct tape, a Gorilla tape, and he's going to tape it to the top of the kayak because he likes to keep it out of the water. If any water gets in the hull, why should it lay on the bottom there? So he gets it all tucked in up top, or on the side he could put it up on the, where like that foot cushion is, he'll tuck it in up there somewhere and tape it up and keeps it off the bottom of the hull so it doesn't get wet or anything like that. And that's basically what he's explaining now. And then he'll show you how he brings the wire around, and you can see it. And he's going to put it behind that gray thing. That's like a foot cushion, I guess we'll call that. And come around, and it's going to come out on the top, and then you'll see there's another cap, just like the other one that he used. Sorry about that. All right, so now he's taking off the cap, just like he did on the first one that I was talking about. And it's basically the exact same thing. 3 screws, and then the triple grommet in there, and the gasket. Again, the same thing. Flat side to the kayak, rigid side up. So you can show you that as well. The wire he's holding right there, that's our power wire to get power to the unit. This kayak has a Yack Power system in it, which is actually pretty cool. So you could hook up multiple things, whether it be lights for the kayak, a USB port. It's got multiple ports. As you can see, that's the switch panel right by his left wrist there. Very cool little device to have in these kayaks. Although I only have one thing hooked up to it, but eventually if I wanted to put more, I could. I believe I have 6 ports where I could put things. I'm not going to be kayaking at nighttime. For me, that's a little crazy. I'm not into that. Maybe one day, but for now, I'm new at this. I'm definitely not going to be going out at nighttime, so I don't need to put on any lights on the kayak. But, you know, USB port in the future will probably be nice to have, charging your cell phones or whatever you may want. And as you can see, it's the same thing right there. It's taking off the rubber gasket. And of course, it's going to be also, you got to remember to put the wires through at the same time too. You know, don't just put it together and forget to put that gasket on, because you have to take everything off and start over again. And like I said, you could see where those screw holes are. They're into the plastic. So now he basically ran everything in. He's going to come up from underneath and pop it straight out. It's actually not that hard to do. Everything's pretty accessible to get in there. So now he just pulled out the wire for that, and here we go, the same thing. Remember to put that gasket on. Can't stress that enough to you. You got to make sure that that gasket is on and ready to go. And basically saying it in there too. Don't forget the gasket. Very important. I believe now he's getting the power wire. So that's going to be for our main power. And that's going to connect directly to the Yack Power, which is connected to the battery. So that's like a plug and play type of thing. Just plug it in, you're good to go. All right, he's testing the Garmin to make sure everything works before he starts running another wire. It's a good thing to do. Just take that extra step, plug it in, turn it on, make sure it works before you start running wires. And as you can see, we see power on, and we're good to go. And he just plugged it in real fast. And we are good to go, as you can see from that test. And now, once we know that everything's working, now we can run all the wires and be done with it. So basically, we're going to be coming through the exact same one that the Transducer went through, but we're going to do something a little different on this. You have gaskets that come with either double holes or single holes. We're going to go all single holes and use 2 of the ports on here instead of doing 1 port with 2 wires through it. And you'll see it in the video, what we're doing exactly. Okay, so we just ran the power. So now we have 2 wires through there. We have power, and we have the Transducer going through. Okay. So that's the cap that has the solid grommets on it that you remove, and you go the other one. So here we'll see the difference between the 2. So one has a solid hole, and the other one has the, oh, actually that's the single, it's a small hole. It looks like that's not the double hole one. It's hard for me to see in this computer right now. But you can see there's 2 different sizes there. Here's the double one. This is the one that has the double holes in it. And now you can put 2 wires through there. But we decided instead of using that one with the 2 holes, we're going to go straight and just do 2 single ones. So that's why he was showing the 2 groms before. It's 1 for the larger wire and 1 for the smaller wire. I guess they give you an assortment of different sizes to fit, you know, different wire and different wire sizes. So those are the 2 we're going to use that on the kayak right now. And we chose not to use the single one with the 2 holes in it. So we're going to basically take up 2 ports out of the 3 for that. So now we're basically doing the same thing. It's a repeat of the first one, just getting that gasket in place, making sure the screw holes are aligned, and getting everything ready. And in the video you can see right now, you can see the grommets that are in there, and then we'll pull those out and go for the ones with the holes in them for it. Again, I apologize for losing the sound. I did not even realize I pulled the microphone wire out, but that's what it is when you're rushing. Okay. So now we're just going to get everything together, and I'll start screwing everything back in. I thought this was actually going to be a lot harder to do, but watching Mike do it, it seemed like it was pretty simple. You know, everything's straightforward, but you just a couple steps you just got to remember to do. That's important. So there's 1 grommet, and you can see how it just pops right back into that plastic thing. So that's like a solid piece of plastic, and the other pieces are just like made of a rubber. And he's doing it. You see how it opened up on the side, and the wire just slips right in, and you get to go. And then he's pushing it right in there. And also, you probably want to have the right direction you're going to make the wire flow easier to your Garmin unit or whatever unit you may have on the machine, on the kayak, excuse me. And the same thing with the other one. So now that one has the bigger hole because this wire is a little bit thicker gauge. And as you can see, that's going to pop into another port on the cap. And like I said, I believe there was 3 access holes there, and we're using 2 of them. All right, and now once that's on, slide your wires through. Again, you want to make sure you give yourself enough wire. So if you want to move the machine around, you have enough wire to do that. You don't want to make it too snug, the wire. You need a little play. I'm a righty, and that's why I have the Garmin on the right side of the kayak. All right, so now that's all said and done, we're going to put those screws back in. Again, I'm stressing it to you, do not tighten too hard. Get them snug and leave it at that. You're going into plastic, you're not going into metal right now. So just pop them right in with a screwdriver, get them nice and snug, and leave it at that. And that's basically what Mike's doing right now. And once that's done, we move on to the next step. This was actually a real nice day that we did this. It was a beautiful, sunny, warm day. Sun was shining. You can even see Mike's got a t-shirt on. Real beautiful day to be doing this outdoors. I think now he's pulling out the wires a little too, just to adjust them a little bit more and then tightening down. Again, that's the Yack Power switch that you can see under his left hand there. And it's got multiple switches. You basically put the power on, and then you choose which port you want the power to come out of, which wire. And there's an M, there's lights, there's a whole bunch of things on it. And then like 1 through 3, 4, I believe, was on that. It's cool little piece actually. I'm glad it's in the kayak. So once it's done, then we're going to move on to wiring the whole machine up. Again, those 2 wires you have. The power wire is one. Okay, what he did right there, as I put that arrow, he's holding down the grommet, because as you're pulling the wires to length, to get them where you want them, you can't just pull on them. You'll pull that plastic grommet out, and then you have to start over again and unscrew it and put it back together. So basically what he just holds down on the plastic, puts pressure on it, and slowly pulls out the wires to get what he needs to get to the machine. So he probably pulled out another few inches of wire on each one, both the power and the transducer. All right. So now basically he's putting on the ram mount to see where we're going to adjust this, where we're going to put it. And we're just playing around to see how it's going to fit for me and where would be the best position for it. Also, you got to remember, you're going to be pedaling with your legs. You got to make sure you're not hanging over where your knees are going to be banging into the machine, because that's just going to make it super uncomfortable. So you always want to make sure you adjust it prior to get into the water. So he's popping it all together. This was just a quick rough one right now. I actually believe we have the bracket on backwards right now. We're just trying to put it to see where it's going to go. And then we just spin it around and roll it and get everything in the right direction. If you guys also are interested, Mike's place is right in Island Park, Empire Kayaks, and they could do all this work for you, just like he's doing for me. Very easy to get to. Just pull your truck in, take your kayak off. He has all the kayak stands that's needed, and you can pop it on the stands, and he can do everything right there. So now you can see that's hanging over quite a bit, so I'd bang my knees into that, so we do adjust it from there. And just plugging in all the wires. Also very important when you're plugging in your wires, take a look at your pins. Make sure you have the wires going into the right spots, and also the right pinholes are lined up. There's going to be a little groove in that wire. Make sure it's lined up with the pin in there. Slide it in, because if you bend those pins, it is a pain in the butt to fix them. So always make sure you have them in the right location. There will be a groove, so you could slide it in there, but don't force it. If it's not going in, don't force it. Look at it, check it out, make the adjustments needed, and then put the wire back in. But it looks like we're all wired up here. So now he's going to plug it in to the main power down there, and that's the Yack Power he's going to plug it into. So you can see it as that plug, the red and black, and just pop it right in, and that's it. And then you have your power. And you can see that right there. Once that's in, that's it, it's powered. But it won't go on until you hit the Yack Power on. So he's showing you where the batteries are. So that wire is ran to the back, and there's your 2 batteries. I have a dual battery setup. There's 2 batteries in there. Give me a little extra time, a little extra power. So the Yack Power is already wired to that, and you'll see there's 2 wires. I don't know if he pulls it out all the way we can see, but there are 2 wires. Each battery has an individual wire going back towards the Yack Power system. All right. So now that's all said and done. There's all the wires in. We're also going to take that and make sure that it gets up on the top and get that off the bottom of the hull. So just in case there's water, he has some Gorilla Tape right there. That's that black Gorilla Tape, which is basically another form of duct tape. Super sticky. Once it locks in, it more or less stays. And you're going to put that up top to keep all the wires out. Even though everything's sealed, you still don't want water getting into your wires and get any type of corrosion and stuff. But those are all heat shrunk, or whatever you call those, the wire connectors. So once you squeeze them, then you heat shrink them and make a nice connection there. And it's also a lot needed just to make sure everything's done and tucked away and get out. If you grab anything, you don't want to rip the wires out, so everything's put away. All right, just double checking everything to make sure everything's okay. And we're going from there. Showing the wires where we have them. Again, we don't have the placement right on the GPS. I actually jump in the machine. I actually jump into the kayak to make sure we have everything in the right direction. He's basically talking here about how everything was wired. Unfortunately, again, I lost my microphone. That's why we're not hearing, but he's explaining how the whole wired system works to me and telling me everything that was going on. So now, basically, I'm hitting the power on to the Yack Power right now, and all the lights will go on. We connected this one to the letter M for machine. That's why we put it to that one, and then it would go from there. You want to make sure that M lights up, and then from there, you got to hit which one you want for it to stay on. If you don't hit it, it won't stay on. It would power down again. So there, you can see it's all powered on, and you can see the whole chart plot is on right now, fired up, beautiful. All right, and then from there, we're going to make the adjustments, what we got to do. So, but we got power, so that's a good start right there. You always want to make sure you have the power, but he did pre-test it before, which is important, because can you imagine getting to this point, you don't have power, and now you have to take everything apart and start over from scratch. So it's always good to check it before you run all your wires and everything like that, and make sure the connections are good. And that's, those are the other ports that you can see in there, and those are all the other attachments. You could attach multiple pieces in there. All right. And that's the Yack Power switch right there. You can see that's the Yack Power. And it's a real cool little system for the kayaks. It makes things a lot easier. You have nav lights you can see up there, NAV, the power, BM, S1, 2, and 3. And like I said, we put this on the M Power just for machine. You can use any wire you want. We just did it for that reason. All right, if I fall, it's going to be really good. All right, here we go. Oh, shit. All right, so we're in. So now we're going to do the proper placement. You got the pedal? No. So with these, you can make the adjustments to where you got to go.
Right, and this, it's like when you're riding a bike, you want to...
So you want full extension?
No, you want a slight bend. I might go out one more. And you wouldn't be wearing these shoes anyway.
Yeah.
But,
it's a lot easier when there's no resistance to the water.
yeah.
Yeah, this is that. Look. Empire Kayaks, here we go. Located in Island Park. Give them a call over there at 516-889-8300. And they're located at 4 Empire Boulevard, Island Park. Sales and rentals, too. If you want to get the kids out, doing a little kayaking, you have all your rentals right here, as you can see. I'll take a walk over there. Whole assortment of rentals that you could use. Got some stand-up paddle boards too, I guess. Here's all your rentals. Go out for a day of fun, especially on a day like this when it's sunny. A lot of fun. Kayak is definitely becoming a huge thing now too. More and more people are getting on them and getting kayaks. Here's your ramp to go down. And there's all your kayaks. And where you would launch. And there's plenty of fishing, great bass fishing back here too. And there you go.